Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hello, everyone, to Hot Mess Moments.
So hot. Such a mess. Such a moment.
Oh my God, I hate that. Welcome, everyone, to our third episode of season 4 of Hot Mess Moments, where we are diving into some new territory for us. We are getting gay.
I'm really proud to say that both of us have decided to come out on this podcast. We've never, ever been vocally or publicly queer in any way, and we're here to
Never.
stay. What's up?
Could you imagine, like, I would love to listen to a podcast of two straight people who have literally no connection to queer culture talking about the movie we're going to talk about today and have zero context to pull from.
And then also talk about the other topic and how very different it would come across. Yeah. So I'm excited, Dylan. We have two really great topics that we're going to discuss today. But before we do so, how you doing? What's going on?
I'm doing good. For those that don't know, my name is Dylan Zaner, also known as 8-Bit Dylan online. I am very excited because today we're going to be reviewing Fire Island. Yeah, it's an amazing LGBTQI plus film that's on Hulu plus. But where can they find you, Beth?
Yes, I'm Beth Dixon, also known as Augusta Windelevin. You can find me online with that name all over. And the other topic we were talking about is something I think all of us can relate to, which is how powerful the #1 franchise in the entire world is. Pokemon.
Isn't that so weird to think that it truly is the number one.
Yeah, it's the #1 franchise of all time. And honestly, rightfully so.
It's just,
and what? I said it.
It's so wild, like, to think that it just started off as like a trading card game and a show, and it like took over the world.
Well, before the trading card game and was the actual video game.
Oh, that came first? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a dumb bitch.
Yeah, okay, poser. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a Poke nerd.
But yes, how I'm doing pretty good. My week's been pretty chill. I honestly don't have too many updates. I went swimming this morning. Woo!
Okay.
So exciting.
Does your complex have a pool?
It does have a pool. And girl, in Missouri, it is 99% humidity with temperatures up into the hundreds. So it is like 102 degrees
the
with
Midwest
99%
literally
humidity.
said, let's be homophobic in June.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
That's awful. You know what? I'm in the middle of the Adirondack Park in New York State and up on a hill where it's always colder. And today it hit a high of 72. And it was lovely.
Hate you. I fucking hate you.
I actually said, Mother, may you may you close the windows? I'm getting a bit chilly.
I hate that. But see, like, for me, there's never a good balance. So obviously it's like 102 outside, or it's like in the high 90s. There's super humidity. But I live with my husband, who loves to basically live in a tundra. So it's like either extreme cold or extreme heat, and I just never can find a good equilibrium, which is why I'm wearing a hoodie right now.
Listen, layers are there for a reason. I identify with I would much rather be cold than hot because I can always put more layers on and I can only take so much off.
No, I'm right there with you, which is why I very much enjoyed taking as many layers off as I legally could and hop in the pool this morning.
Very fun. Were there other people in the pool?
No, that's the best part. And so I snuck in. I was trying to sneak into the pool because it doesn't open till 10 a.m. And so
is there a lifeguard?
There's not, but that's why I was
got to be open.
Exactly. So I was like, let me just go in. There's nothing stopping me. And the caretaker of the lot or something like that walks in right as I'm walking in, and I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna kick me out. And he didn't give a rat's ass. He had the look on his face.
He's
he
probably
didn't get
making minimum wage, and he's
exactly.
like, "I don't
He's
give a
like
shit."
he's like, I ain't gonna say nothing. And so he just kept doing his work. And I was like, I'm gonna swim over here. So yeah, I swam for almost like around an hour. And then when it opened, people started showing up. And I was like, I'm gonna get out of here. I don't want to
You're like, "I
encourage
already
them to start
pissed in
coming here.
there, guys, so have a nice
I
day."
pissed and shit in that pool.
Okay, have you ever peed in a pool?
Probably
Like,
when I
not
was
as, like, a little
younger,
kid, but,
but
like
I hate that. I know. It's
okay,
weird to me.
I've never understood like, listen, I pee in the lake all the time, especially when I'm very drunk because every other creature is peeing in that lake, right?
You're like,
Who
I just want
gives
to be a fish.
I'm swimming in duck feces. Like, yes, I will take a pee, like, whatever. I've never understood the people who are just like, I don't care, the chlorine will kill it. Girl, that's
Hey,
gross.
I'm not gonna yuck anyone's yum because I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna say it. I'm so sorry. This is hot mess moments. You know we're a hot mess. I
Okay.
pee in the shower.
That's
And
not that's fine.
people I've heard people freak out about that.
Okay, why?
I don't
A
know.
pool you were sharing with other people.
It's not like I'm peeing on myself in the shower.
Even if you were, it's getting immediately cleaned off of you.
Yeah.
It's also like sterile. Like there's nothing. It's basically sweat, but just a little different.
This is a little different. I can't with
I
you.
don't understand. I don't pee that often in the shower. I pee if I'm like, you know what? I peed before I got in the shower, and you know what? Round 2 is coming up, and that happens maybe once every 2 years. So I'm not like a big person to
Oh.
do that, but I don't care if people I couldn't care I would care if I was in the shower with that person, but that's never happening because
Yeah.
2 reasons. 1, I'm ace and I don't want to, and secondly, I have showered with people before
Yeah.
and try to make it sexy. Bitch, I'm cold. Give me the water. I don't want you anywhere. This is
Oh.
my time. I also, oh my God, I have like, you know me. I actually have such like I hate shower spaces and bathtubs.
Oh
I,
yeah, like I
I'm weird.
when you
I'm
when you
weird.
get touched by a shower curtain
Oh,
and it's like mold, it's like slightly moldy.
oh, it's literally I cannot deal with it. Dylan has stayed at my apartment and I literally am so neurotic where I was like, guys, when you are done with the shower, please pull the bath mat out and put it over the edge and then close the curtain so that mildew doesn't
Yeah.
grow. But like I'm literally neurotic about this kind of stuff because I hate it. Up until about literally 3 or 4 years ago, I
Yeah.
wore flip-flops in my own shower
Girl,
that
that's
I
a
cleaned,
mess.
and I was
That's a
the only person
mess.
I'm telling you.
That's wild. Well, speaking of very dirty showers, let's talk about our movie today because I
Ah,
guarantee you those showers are filled to the
filthy.
brim with
Oh,
with like gunk and funk because we're talking
ugh.
about Fire Island, honey.
Yes. Okay, so you were saying before we recorded, you were saying you've never been to Fire Island.
Yeah, I've never been to Fire Island. I've heard stories about it. Obviously, it's like a
Mhm.
huge like gay party spot. I personally feel like I've aged out of it. I'm like 31 now,
Well,
but
you're in the in-between years, so you're either young and
yeah,
you're partying or you're old and you're retired living there.
yeah. Yeah, it's like it's there's like a weird mix of people that live there.
Mhm.
Obviously I was like looking up a little bit about it. The island has been referred to as America's first gay and lesbian town, which is interesting.
Hey.
But it does have like a little bit of history to it. So
Mhm.
I'm sure that like, if I looked more into it, like there's some stuff about like time in the 30s that it served as like a refugee place, but
Oh,
uh
interesting.
yeah, there is a lot of sex that happens on Fire Island. And
Great.
I'm curious, as someone that lives in New York, Beth, are there any
Yeah.
like stories that you've heard of Fire Island?
No, honestly, like I've seen from like people going to perform there for Pride or over the summer, like Aquaria was there or whatever, but I haven't seen anything crazy that I know of. To be honest, up until like literally the past 2 years, I just thought it was a retirement for like
That's so
white
funny.
gay. Like that's what I thought about it because what I was seeing was all of these retired older Broadway people who are like moving to Fire Island or like, yes, me and my partner of 50 years have a home out in Fire Island. Like I was like, oh, that's so sweet that there's like a
Mm,
protected, like,
yeah.
safe island
I'm
for all
sure
these
it
old people.
is.
Yeah, no, and I really think that I feel like it's like the two ends of the extreme, right? Like we said, I think that it's like you've got, you know,
You're getting
people
anal
doing
beads ripped out of
ketamine
your pussy, and then on the other end, you're making like breakfast for your like cute lesbian wife. You know?
after you harvest it out of your own garden kind of thing, like 100%. Like that's exactly what I was thinking of it. Um, so yeah, I just thought that that was what it was. So I literally, as a New Yorker, you have to always remember I'm talking about upstate New York. Like I'm very like far removed for Fire Island's off of Long Island. Like if
Yeah.
I were to go from my hometown all the way there, it would be like an 8-hour drive plus then a ferry.
Yeah.
So
I
I really had no sense of what was going on.
I do want to say that this movie I personally thought was really fucking good. Um, Especially when I learned more about it and like how it was developed
Mhm.
and there is like a unique history behind it. I listened to
Ooh,
the Los Culturistas podcast. Shout out to Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers, two people who
yes.
are in the film. They they have a very successful podcast, and they talked about how this movie came to be and like some of the behind the scenes stuff that comes with it. And it really was a love letter for this cast and crew. And I fucking thought it was great. I enjoyed every minute of it, even though it's
Yeah.
kind of cliched in some aspects.
Yeah, it's cliched, but what rom-com isn't? Like that's the
Yeah,
whole point,
exactly.
right? I I liked it. I couldn't stand the main character. Like,
Oh, the one that Joel Booster plays,
yes,
Joaquin Booster.
Noah.
Yeah.
In it's I think that watching as somebody who identifies as Ace and Demi, this is something I've actually been reflecting a lot on during this month, like in particular. I've been thinking a lot about pride, and I'm not a sex repulsed asexual person, although there are people who are out there who are, and that's valid. But I will never be able to relate to, yeah, just go fuck somebody and get it out of your system. And I think honestly, it was a little triggering for me because I've had that be the message to me so often. And it's like, listen to your friend. Your friend is clearly enjoying that he's getting to know this person. So in that way, I was just like annoyed, but it wasn't because the movie was bad or the character's bad. It was just because I was like that was my response to him. I thought the movie was great. I thought it was a just like a fun movie that elicited various different feelings out of me, which is
Yeah.
what you should have with a movie.
I no, from what I just gathered from your reviews, you hate gay people
Yep.
and our culture. So I
I
mean, that's fine.
after watching this movie, my first initial gut reaction, point blank, gays don't deserve rights. Like
I
literally,
mean, that's a
that
good
was
summation. That's honestly,
uh,
no, I think
no, of
I
course
think
not.
this cast did a great job. I kind of agree with you to some extent. I think like Noah as a character was pretty annoying. And I'm so stupid. I didn't realize this until a second viewing that this is based off of Pride and Prejudice. And I think like Noah's character is meant to be Elizabeth Bennet in the book, and Elizabeth is an annoying character in the book. So I
Well,
think
here we
like
are.
in
All
that
Elizabeths are.
and there you go. But I think like in that regard, Noah does do the like, or Joel does a great job of presenting Noah as this annoying character. Um, and
Yeah.
I think like my favorite star of the movie is probably Bowen Yang
Yeah.
as Howie, just because Howie is such a nuanced character and there's a lot of like pain behind him. And I
Yep.
think that this movie does such a great job of like having you root for Howie. And then one of my favorite scenes is when Howie stands up to Noah and it's just like, shut the fuck up. You do not relate with me. Stop pretending that you relate with me. But they also do relate clearly. They are both gay
Yeah.
Asian men that have to deal with a lot of you know, societal pressures and a lot of racism within the gay community.
Mhm.
As mentioned at the beginning of the film, no fats, no femmes, no Asians. But I just fucking thought Bowen Yang did an amazing job as
What I
Howie.
loved the most about his character is the representation of just the various feelings of feeling inadequate within your own queer community, because I think that so many of us can. We don't feel like,
Yeah.
am I gay enough? Am I the picture perfect, like societal pressure? Do I look like that enough? Do I party enough? Do I do what, like there's all these different things because, you know, queer people have been so ostracized for so long. And now that there's more freedoms, although that is really quite a way to say that, as so many rights are being attacked, especially within our our trans siblings community. Um, but now that there's more freedoms, a lot of what Noah's saying is correct. Like, you know, why do we have to follow the heteronormative idea of
Yeah.
marriage or having a partner and such? But for some people, that is what they want, not just because maybe they've been socialized that way, but maybe that's just who they are. Like they want that. And so there's so many different feelings of, am I adequate enough, or is this because I want this, does this make me like not as gay? If I don't want to go to a party and have public sex, is that
You
like,
don't want
am
to get
I
your pussy
pure
laid out?
enough? You know, like those kind of, yeah. And if I don't really want to get railed at
You
a
want to go to the
party,
meat rack?
the meat
Yeah.
rack, if I can go to it, like, like little stocking, what are they called? The stocks or whatever.
You're so ace. Like you're just like, can
Yeah.
I just like go on like, the jungle gym?
I'm
Can I
just like,
like do the
do
monkey
I do
bars?
the monkey bars? And then just go, and be like,
I
yeah. But it's just so funny to me because I think that one of the things I've just seen over and over. So I try to be as visibly ace and demi as I can be because it is just not represented anywhere. And I'm seeing more and more people start to come out, which is great. But I didn't have any representation for that. So seeing people who are messaging me and saying like, hey, just seeing you be out and proud about this has helped me understand my identity a little bit better. And then feel like Bowen Yang's character is doing the same thing, like people who are saying, I don't know if I really identify with all these different areas that are quote unquote maybe extreme within gay culture, but it's good to know that doesn't make me any less gay.
Yeah. No, I think that's like hitting the nail right on the head. And I also really like there's like so much to discuss here. And I think obviously it's based off of Pride and Prejudice, but like there's like class divide that's
Mm-hmm.
discussed. There is like obviously a lot of like racism within the gay community that's discussed. There
Mm-hmm.
is body there's like the difference in body types amongst this cast and like that they have that discussion. But I also want to shout out this film because like they don't explicitly ever say fat or fit or anything like that. They are able to have this discussion without ever actually talking about size, shape, or like body at
Mm-hmm.
all, which I think was a really good way of doing it, especially when like Howie and Noah are having that conversation. Also, spoiler alert, if you have not seen the film yet, we are spoiling it,
Yeah.
but it's a really good film. Go check it out. It's on Hulu. So if you have Hulu, please, please, please go watch this film. The one thing that I wish we got more of was a lot of the side characters because I thought
Mm.
that they were really good. Like I like Matt Rogers' character as Luke. I like Tomas as Keegan. I just thought like all of them are great. More Margaret Cho. Like I listened to Las Culturistas and they mentioned that there was like 20 minutes of footage that got cut
Mm.
from the film. So I do wonder if there was like even more like funny, silly
I feel like
bits.
20 minutes is really not that much, which
It's
means that they
not.
used a lot of what they filmed in this film then. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I actually kind of felt like it was almost distracting that they weren't going into more depth of those other characters. Like, why introduce all of them if you aren't going to use them? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if they used them as filler, but they didn't really use them as like, because everybody represented like a very clear, defiant
Yeah.
different representation, which was amazing. Like I really was like, oh, sucked in from the very beginning when they're on the ferry being like, yes, I can't wait to hear about these characters. And then they're like, all right, we're gonna go do poppers. And I was like, wait, what? Like they're not gonna be a part of this discussion? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Okay. So I have to ask,
yes.
what were your thoughts on obviously this is like a film mostly about like gay men. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought that, did you hear that?
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I thought that, okay, for those, I don't know if it picked up on my mic. My
It did.
husband like made a noise and I thought he was yelling at me for talking. Then he's like, hey. I was like, oh shit.
No, he's just
Um,
playing Dead by Daylight.
I wanted to know your thoughts. Obviously, this is a movie mostly about gay men.
Mhm.
And I did see a little bit of discussion about this, how Margaret Cho kind of represents like the token lesbian character of this film. Do you think
Mhm.
Margaret Cho did a great job? I personally did, but I'm curious your
What I love
thoughts.
the most about her character is that it really tips the hat to the importance of the lesbian community to gay men. Um,
Yeah.
Specifically, when you hearken back to the AIDS epidemic, where so many gay men we were losing, we lost a generation essentially of gay men, and the people who supported them the most when nobody else would were lesbians, trans women, and a few other allies. That was it. The lesbian community and trans women in particular were the people who uplifted them the most. This movie was about gay men,
Yeah.
period. So having one character that, yeah, to a certain extent, I'm sure was tokenized, right? But the point that they were trying to make with her character is that she's kind of sees herself as this chosen
Yeah.
family mother, and she wasn't insignificant. She was somebody who you saw like impart knowledge, but also party with them. And it wasn't
Yeah.
every single stereotype about every different kind of lesbian thrown into one. Like, no, she was just clearly her own person. And that's what I think was
Yeah.
the best thing about it. Do I wish we could have seen a couple other lesbians or trans women or something like that? Sure. But I don't think it necessarily takes away from the movie. Now,
Yeah.
again, I am not trans or a lesbian, so it may not even really be my place to say that.
Yeah, no, I was just going off of like I saw like a few things online and I was like, this is really dumb. This movie's really great. You're picking at straws here. So one fun fact that blew my mind when we watched this film is so Joel Kim Booster, the lead actor who plays Noah in the film, found out he is currently dating someone that I know from
But
my past in The Sims. So yeah, it's weird. So Joel's boyfriend, I don't know if I should say his name. I don't know if it's like public knowledge, but Joel's boyfriend was someone that used to work for The Sims back in the day.
that's so
And
cool.
I remember meeting him in person at one of these events, and he was like a super Broadway head, loved musicals, loved Broadway, ridiculously hot, like holy shit,
Ooh.
like ridiculously hot to the point where like everyone was thirsty for this person. And it was really, it became a meme, honestly, within the Sims community of everyone thirsting after this person. But I was so excited to see. I saw like one of their tweets, and I was just like, "Oh my god, no fucking way that like that these two people are connected." both are great people. So I just had to throw that in there. I thought it
That's
was
so
really neat to make
cool.
that
That
connection.
is
I was like,
really cool.
small world.
Meanwhile, the only connection I made was, well, first of all, Bo and Yang just talking about SNL at the party just made me laugh
Yeah.
because I was like, nah, I get that. And then Margaret Cho's just being an icon, as we know. But the person who plays Will, which I forgot his name,
Conrad Ricamora.
yeah, he was in How to Get Away with Murder. Uh,
Yeah.
it was
And
like
it was
the
so
awkward
hot.
gay guy who helped them with like all the like cyber stuff, like, but wasn't a part of the law school and dated that absolute, which he would have
Trash.
trash piece of shit, like clearly would have been a Trump supporter, conservative gay. And I was like, you need to dump him or, just move on.
I don't know. All I want to say is How to Get Away with Murder. Conrad Ricamora, you weren't really a gay awakening, but I know for a fact you were a gay awakening from some people. He is so hot as a nerdy person in
Oh,
that
yeah.
show.
How to Get Away with Murdering This Pussy.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also I think Conrad plays Seymour on Broadway in
Suddenly
why
Seymour.
am I blanking? Little Shop of
Little
Horrors,
Short. Yeah, Little Shop.
which I didn't realize until I saw Conrad in the costume for Seymour. I was like, Conrad plays Seymour? I don't see it. Then I saw him in the costume. I was like, oh, I totally see it. Like,
Oh, I could definitely see it from the beginning. Hey, little plant, grow for me. Like 100%.
what? Wait, we need to
Have you
discuss
never?
whatever that. Well, no, what the fuck that accent was that you
That's
just.
exactly how other people have played him before. Huh? Like it's like awful. What's
I
the
mean,
guy's name? Ed something. I have it on my phone. Hold on. That's how we literally start to be like, man, Audrey won't date me. Like that kind of thing. You're like, okay.
Little Shop of Horrors is fucking it. I love it.
So in high school, my brother was in high school. The year after I graduated, they did Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
And my brother was the voice of Audrey too, that plant. And my
Love it.
super white younger brother at the age of 16 had a bass voice, sounded
baby.
just like a little baby, hello. It was like, what? That came out of nowhere. So he literally, in the beginning, my best friend's brother was the mechanics of the plant inside the plant. And
Yeah.
so our little brothers collectively were Audrey too, which I thought was funny. But my brother just sat next to the conductor in the pit and he's just sitting there with a microphone and just like, and you could just see him from behind and his head just going, bah, 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 bah. And it was just so funny. Oh, do, 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 do. He was so good. Anyway.
I actually have another story about Little Shop of Horrors. We did that in high school as well. And I was gay, obviously. What? I know. Oh. And I got teased when I did show choir in middle school, and I had auditioned for it in high school. And I was too scared that I'd get bullied because I was not out. So I didn't do any theater. I didn't do any show choir or anything like that. But I really wanted to do Little Shop of Horrors. I think it was in high school. It might have been middle school. But I really wanted to do Little Shop of Horrors. And I decided not to audition for it. And I remember I got made fun of for not having an Adam's apple and not having a deep voice.
What?
And then I got so mad because I really wanted to play Audrey too. And I was like, oh my God, that just would be so much fun to play this like monstrous plant. So obviously I didn't audition, didn't think I would get it. Literally the day before the musical, my balls drop and I start talking like this. And I play Audrey. No, I'm kidding. That's all made up. But I don't end up playing Audrey too. Could you imagine if my balls randomly drop?
I was just like, what?
No, sorry. No, listen. So I wanted to play Audrey 2 really bad. And the kid that played him was a complete asshole, but had this really deep voice. And so does a really good job. I end up getting obviously made fun of for not having a deep voice. The next year, you can't win because then I get made fun of for having too deep of a voice and having too large of an Adam's apple. So literally can't win, and also fuck Audrey too because I want to play it. I don't know where
to unpack.
that was a lot. There was a lot there.
I need you to remember that we're doing a podcast, not a therapy session. No, just kidding.
Sorry.
No, I mean,
the moral of the story:
though,
do theater. Do theater as a kid.
Seriously, do it. It's a lot of fun. My brother, the next year, his senior year, they did Oliver for the musical.
Yeah.
And everybody, if you're anybody, you want to play Fagin. Like that is.
What'd you call me?
Yeah. You're a little Fagin. So Fagin is.
I'm gagging for you, Fagin.
I'm fucking saying that. I'm sorry. That's just what I'm going to do. So Fagin is the like old man who like is like employs all the sea urchins essentially to like street urchins, not sea urchins.
I was like, what? I was like, what is this musical?
Street urchins. So all the little like homeless kids that are like who are poor or whatever, he basically gets them to steal everything and then he sells everything. He like feeds them or whatever, right? He's like the juicy part for somebody to play. They gave it to none other than a freshman, Steve Moses from Big Brother 17. My brother then got the part of Bill Sykes, who is like basically like the crime boss, like mafioso kind of person, right?
Yeah.
He's like the scary guy in South London. Or maybe it's not South London, it's East London. Regardless, East London. Regardless, my brother did this thing where they had a table that was off the ground, right? Like a normal sized table. And he had long enough legs that without any assistance of hands, he stepped right up on the table and came up and stepped right back down. And he did it multiple times in the like one song he had.
Yeah.
And we as an audience just were like, it was like we were watching Cirque du Soleil. I know it's really lame. I've never been able to understand how somebody could just take their leg and have it basically your knee at eye level and just without any assistance pop right up onto a table.
I'm gonna try it now.
Oh my god, do it.
Okay. How high? So like
about there.
Oh my god, yes. I could be a Faden.
No, Bill Sykes. Fagin is the other one.
God, bitch, I don't fucking know. I'm not a musical theater guy.
And here's the other thing. He has to get shot at the end. And so they shoot him and he's like supposed to be up on top of like a building or whatever. And so he had to like basically do about a 10-foot fall onto a mat.
Oh my god.
That nobody else could see. So they had to practice it over and over. And they had to be like, Chris, you can't look. You can't be like, shot.
Yeah.
And then fall because whatever. So they practiced it over and over so he would just know to trust it that he could just fall. But like, could you imagine if he'd like hurt himself on the way down?
Honestly, okay, wait.
His days just going up on tables without any help would have been over.
Honestly, the career-ending tragedy. But I have had this resurgence to like, I don't know why. I know this will never happen. That to like act in a movie and do your own stunts just sounds so much fun. And I don't know why, but I mean, I do know why. It's to be a badass, but I don't know why. It's another wave of emotions recently where I'm like, I really want to act in something.
Listen,
I don't know why.
I have been considering why not? I may just like put together like an actor's resume and headshot. And why not just go audition for something in New York City? Because I'm there. Yeah. Why not do it? Like it could be off Broadway. It could be me.
It's in an alleyway, girl. She's doing Cats.
Girl, I'm doing a one woman show of Cats by myself in an alley.
You got like little furry or Amazon cat ears that you bought from Amazon. And you got like a tail made out of like fucking a rope.
And I'm charging people a recyclable item so I can return it in to get 5 cents. It'll be great.
I'm here for it. Make that
Honestly,
happen. That's modern art.
honestly, I should just have my cousin, he has a retail space for sale. I should just be like, you know what? We're turning this into my theater. And I also can't pay
But
you.
but you're like, could you imagine that is true Beth narcissism energy where
100%.
you literally open up a theater and people get so excited. They're like, oh my God, I can't wait to see the local productions here. And it's literally just you performing plays and you're the only star of the show. You direct, you act, and you also do the spotlights. And so
I'm
like
gonna be like, hold on one second, and then run and press the spotlight, go back, and just like da 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 da. Oh, 1 second. Adjust it again, come
I'm
back.
here for it. I'm here for it.
Honestly, it's what I deserve.
It's what you deserve. Honestly, it's what you deserve. Okay,
All
wait,
right,
wait. Let's
so
to be
we
back on
gotta go back.
topic
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
from Fire Island. Fire Island. So I also want to commend. I know I'd already talked about this, but Tomas and Matt Rogers, who play they're two of the side characters. Fucking loved them. I love their energy. I love their friendship. When Matt Rogers' character Luke gets too drunk at the party and throws up in the vase, I was like, oh girl, relate, been there, done that. But I I don't know why. I just like after watching the film, and I need to stop saying I don't know why, because I've said that too many times now. But
Do a shot every time he says, I don't know why.
right. But watching this film, I know that there probably will never be a sequel, but like I really loved these characters and would have totally been okay if this had been a show, which I did some research and found out that I think this was meant to be a show originally.
It honestly came across like it should have been a miniseries.
Yes.
And that's not just because I thought it actually was a miniseries until you said it's a movie that's an hour and 40 minutes. And I went, oh, okay, we could watch that. But
Yeah.
I really think the way it was laid out could have easily been done in 3 hour-long episodes that, or even 4 episodes if you wanted to go a little bit more into those other characters.
Yeah. Like, and I mind you, am doing this research now via Wikipedia, so that's not a very reliable source, but it says
It
that
is the most reliable source because anybody could edit it, Dylan.
oh duh,
Collective.
more cooks in the kitchen. That's my mantra, you know.
Yes. We listen, that is how you get into a global mindset if people aren't all sharing their opinions and making it fact on a Wikipedia site.
Honestly, I can't. Wikipedia is basically Fire Island because it's just a bunch of fucking white gays just swapping spit and swapping info.
It's
And
either white gays doing it or incels.
yeah, and you have to just deal with the aftermath of whatever mess is left behind after they leave.
Oh God.
No, okay, but seriously, I'm looking right now on Wikipedia, and it's saying that this was originally, and I think this is why there's a Quibi joke, originally meant to be a Quibi series written by Joel Kim
Oh.
Booster,
Okay.
and it was under the name Trip. And then eventually it swapped hands. They got a different director. Eventually it becomes a movie that was supposed to be called Spa Night, I think. No, Spa Night's a different film. It got retitled to Fire Island. And then that's when they got the Spa Night director, Andrew, on to create this film. And I think that it's fascinating because, like you said, after watching it, I did get the vibe that like there's so many strong characters in this show. It gives me television series. It gives me like a streaming service show that goes for like 8 episodes. Like I get that vibe.
I also think it had too many logical places to just end it and it just kept going. And I think that could have been better served if it had had episodes.
Yeah,
the last 20 minutes is a little slow because it's like we had an ending, but there's more. Here's another ending, but there's still 12 minutes left. And here's another ending. And then in the last 2 minutes, we have the final ending. And I'm like, Oh my gosh. Just
Yeah.
end it.
No, I agree with you. Like that end, I think like that is probably for me both some of the best and worst parts of this film are the endings
Yeah.
because there's just so much going on. But I can't lie, I fucking love the ending to Noah and Will's story
Yeah, me too.
of them not establishing an actual relationship and just saying, let's just see where this goes, which I'm like,
Mhm.
can we get more of that in rom-coms, please? I'm
Yes.
fucking. Can we also talk about how fucking amazing it is to have a rom-com with two gay characters that are just fucking friends, and like
Yes.
they end up not falling for each other. Like Noah and Howie are meant to just be friends. They know that they're good friends. There's like this stereotype where you assume, oh yeah, they're eventually going to like they're perfect for each other. Like Howie's not going to be able to find anyone. Noah's going to end up realizing how great of a person Howie is, and then they get together. Like that's
Yeah.
like a
A trope that we
stereotypical
see all
thing.
the time.
Yeah. So I love that it doesn't go down that route,
Me too. Me too.
and they both go for totally different types of people.
Yep.
There's just so much I love about this film, but
It is really good.
I don't want to gush about it too much because we've already said what we have to say because we have a second topic that we want to talk about.
Listen,
That's the same thing, basically.
yeah, it's gay. It's very gay. And it's also about a different world about where gay it's like another gay safe space and another world that you can escape to. It's Pokemon.
Yes.
Yes.
We want to talk about Pokemon and also like who are the gayest Pokemon? Because let's be real,
100%.
Pokemon's very queer.
So for those that don't know, I'm actually I'm like a rebirth of having like my Pokemon renaissance. I was pretty much a day one Pokemon fan. My brother got a Game Boy 2 months before I did and played Pokemon Blue. And then I got Red when I got my Game Boy on my birthday.
Yeah.
And so we always got the opposite versions so that we could trade back and forth and see, like, obviously there's some Pokemon that are only available on one version and those kind of things. And so we always did that. I loved Gen 2. I still love it. It's still my favorite generation. And there's a lot of people who were like, it shouldn't be. It's like the most broken one. And you know what? It may be. And I don't give
eat
a
my
shit.
ass.
Yeah, actually don't because I don't want you to do that. But like,
But you can eat mine.
figuratively eat my ass, but literally eat Dylan's. Okay. um, and
Could you imagine? You're fuck. I just imagine you like I'm literally in person with you, and you're like, and you're like really pissed off at someone. You're like, literally eat Dylan's ass.
can that be the new tagline of our show? Welcome to Hot Mess Moments. Figuratively eat Beth's ass, but literally eat Dylan's.
That's so stupid.
Oh god.
I want to start doing that now. When they said like suck my dick, I'm like, you know what? Suck Nigel's dick. Like just like they're like
figuratively suck my dick, but literally suck Nigel's.
Suck his dick.
I want to start doing that to people who aren't like paying attention.
Yeah. Just and then Jen, like you go to your boss, you're all like, honestly, suck his dick. And you're just like, what? I don't know.
Literally.
Anyway,
okay.
Literally.
So then I played the Pokemon trading card game. I played a lot of the cards. I collected them as well. And then I went to college. And after Gen 3 in the Hoenn region, I just didn't play. And then the next time I picked up a Pokemon game was Gen 8 with Sword and Shield. And so with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl that came out, I got to play Gen 4, but I've never played 5, 6, or 7. So I'm really excited because Gen 9 coming out right before Thanksgiving this year. And I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, for me, I'm actually in like the most downturn I've had of Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Pokemon. It was like my safe space back when I was younger. I think I think I didn't really play a lot of the Game Boy games. I really like fell in love with Pokemon based off of the show and then based off Coliseum because that was on Nintendo 64. I didn't own a Game Boy.
Yeah.
when I was younger. So I could only play the console version, which was Pokemon Coliseum.
Yeah.
And that and like Puzzle Pokemon Master or whatever that game was, loved
Yep.
that game. And so I eventually got a Game Boy,
Did
eventually
you play
caught up
Pokemon
on
Snap?
of course, played
Okay.
Pokemon Snap, all those types of games, loved them. And I still kept in touch with Pokemon throughout the ages, like whenever they had new ones. I never really played Ruby or Sapphire. I never
Yep.
really played Diamond and Pearl. I kind of skipped those, but I
Mhm.
kept up to date with what was happening. And then eventually, when Black and White came out,
Yep.
that was my shit, bitch. That was my shit. That is to this day still my favorite Pokemon game is Black
So
and
many
White.
people say Gen 4 or 5 is their favorite generation.
Yes. Like something about Black and White, just like it's difficult enough to
Mhm.
where it doesn't get boring and it
Yep.
adds new mechanics like through like the different battles that you have. There's like trio battles, there's double battles, there's
Yep.
like rotational battles. Like there
Ooh.
yeah, it's fun. It's a really fun system. So I was gun ho all about Pokemon during Black and White. I was fully obsessed with it. And then eventually Sun and Moon comes out. And when I tell you, it is the worst Pokemon game I have ever played.
See, people
And,
say that about X and Y, but
oh, I forgot about X and Y. X and Y was all right. It wasn't my favorite,
people
but
say that Sun and Moon, from what I understand, what they don't like about it is that it's just like a whole bunch of cutscenes that you have to be like, shut up. I just want to play the
yeah.
game.
Sun and Moon for me was a 4-hour tutorial for
Yeah.
the most part. And I just don't have time for that. And I got bored so quickly in Sun and Moon. Now,
Yeah.
mind you, I like what they try to do in Sun and Moon, but overall, I just got so out of it. And then I played Sword and Shield, and I hate to say this, I fucking hated Sword and Shield too.
That's fine. You're
I
allowed to hate
like I'm
it.
not actually like there's literally a
No,
gun right
you're
next
allowed
to
to
me.
hate it. Wink, wink. Come after
Yeah.
him, gays.
Yeah, fuck him up. No, but Sword and Shield, I thought it tried new things, which I really like. I like the
Mhm.
Dynamax mechanic. I like that it just really wants to like be its own thing. My issue with Pokemon is things like Dynamaxing are great. Why are we only doing it during gym battles? Like, if you're going to add a new mechanic into the game, try to take more risks and
Mhm.
implement it more into like the gameplay itself. That's why I think I liked Black and White, is because you would have battles that were sometimes double battles. You'd have rotational battles.
Is that the
Sometimes
one
you'd be
with
triple
Mega
battles.
Evolutions? Or
I
was that
can't
X and
remember. I
Y?
think it's X and Y that has mega
Okay.
evolutions. That's when I started like kind of falling off from the series. I
Yeah.
was just like, I don't know how I feel about mega
I
evolutions.
generally am not like, I don't care that much about Dynamaxing and that kind of thing. What I love that Sword and Shield introduced, and then what I fucking loved about Legends Arceus was the overworld mechanic of like the
Yeah.
wild area. And I love that there were overworld Pokemon and then Pokemon that you couldn't see that were in the grass that would just pop up, right? I loved that mechanic because it gets you so much more involved in the world of Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then what I loved with Legends Arceus is that there's no hidden Pokemon. Who you see in the overworld is who they're like who's in front of you. So
Yeah.
I love that. I also love that it was easier to identify where the shinies were. Like that was great. I'm a big shiny hunter person now.
Yeah.
And then the third thing that I loved about Legends Arceus is that the battle mechanics were amazing.
I heard it's really difficult. I haven't played it, but I heard it's very difficult.
The Pokemon attack you. So
Yeah.
it's not a traditional Pokemon game in the sense of like, okay, I shall stop and battle. Because even with during the battle, your character can run around the entirety of the battle and like watch it from different perspectives, right? And if you run too far away from the battle, it just ends and your Pokemon comes back to the ball. So if you're like, I didn't want to do this and I don't want to go through the menu and say run, you can just run away. Who cares? But in terms
Yeah.
of like the actual battle animations, like they're amazing. Like it's not just like actually Tyler and I were talking about this on Twitter about he was saying, it's ridiculous that Pokemon doesn't have like these amazing graphics and battle animations and all those things. And I'm like, well, they're working towards that for sure. But I do agree that it's disappointing to have this incredible battle animation and mechanics from Legends Arceus and then seem like we're going backwards with Gen 9 to see like, LeChonk use tackle and it's just like him just going like this instead of actually tackling the other Pokemon like they do in Legends Arceus.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with that. But we also have to remember that the Pokemon team, there's like 2 or 3 different teams at Game Freak that are working on different games.
They're working on like 10 different games.
So whoever worked on Legends Arceus did not work on Gen 9. But from what I'm hoping and understanding, Gen 9 is going to be fucking lit. Like,
dude, these trailers, I'm getting reeled back in. I'm like, because even with the trailers of Sword and Shield, I was just kind of like hesitant. Yeah. But when I saw that hot professor, not only did my panties drop, but my wallet did too, because I'm ready to play Gen 9 of Pokemon.
There's so many little things about this. Like, I have analyzed the trailer. I've watched other people who have analyzed the trailer. Like, there's so many things. So I think, along with a lot of other people, what's going to make Scarlet and Violet different is that I think Scarlet is going to take place more about the past and Violet's going to be about the future. If you look at the professors, they match their wear, like their attire matches the legendaries. So the female professor, Professor Saba, I think her name is, has like what looks like tribal, indigenous, like more like ancient looking wear on her. And then when you look at, I forgot, I think it's Corrigan or something like that is the name of the Scarlet Lizard legendary.
Oh, you're right.
He has feathers and such like that. If you look over at the male professor, he has
like futuristic like he's got a body stuff. He's got a bodysuit.
He has got a bodysuit on that has like lights on it. And then if you look at Morrigan or whatever this Violet one is, that has like jetpacks. Its eyes are like, pixelated and like digitalized and all that kind of stuff. So I think the themes are going to be past and future, and it's going to be really cool to see how they do that. And so I can't wait. And it also, depending on, this is the first time Pokemon's ever split up, like you get a different professor depending on the game. It clearly showed that the school had different emblems depending on which one that you were on. So clearly your school is different. So I can't wait to see the other major thing, which is that you can play with up to 4 other people in the same world.
I'm so excited about that. But what I'm hoping, please, Nintendo, listen. Do not make it to where it's basically just us walking around in an overworld. I want us to like be able to do duo battles and
I hope so.
Like all this crazy shit. Like I want to literally play the game with 4 people. And
I would love that.
Every battle, I want to have 4 people.
I know. It is the one thing that I'm sitting back being like, that's exactly what I hope for. And I feel like they're going to give us like 60% of that. And we're going to have to wait until the next game to figure out, okay, here we go. But I'm also thoroughly excited about this open world concept as well, that you can go to any gym at any time. And I'm sure,
I love that.
And I'm sure it's going to be like, I'm sure like their teams and the levels will change based off of how many badges that you have. So like if you go to one gym and you defeat it, wherever you go next will just be X number of levels higher. And then you can get that kind of thing. Like so I'm sure it'll be something like that. But I'm excited because how many times, like there have been games like I felt like Gen 4. Yeah, I felt like Gen 4 with Sinnoh, there were times where like the time between the first and the second gym was aggressively long, and I was like, oh my god, I just want to get badges. And then it was just like you could get 3 badges right in a row without any story, and I'm like, this is so unbalanced. Like just allow me to have a little bit of story in between each one and I'll be good to go. But I don't know.
Okay so the question, we have to end off on this question. We've now given our reviews and recollections of Pokemon. To tie it into Fire Island,
Mhm.
If, say, the Fire Island location existed in the Pokemon universe, what Pokemon would attend? We're talking the gayest of the gay Pokemons.
Okay. I think the gayest Pokemon,
Okay,
I'm saying this on record,
here
and
we
it's
go.
not one that some people would immediately go, "Oh yeah, that's the gayest Pokemon," but you're right. And I'm already saying this that people are going to say I'm right. Machoke.
You're wrong.
No, I'm right.
Okay, tell me why. Defend your point, girl.
After all that we watched with Fire Island
Yeah.
about the gays who just rip off their shirts the moment they get on the ferry, who, you know, are walking around the island in their Speedos, who care about the gym and looking in a specific physique, that is a Fire Island gay right there. Fight me.
I would say one of the gayest Pokemon is Execute, because they are literally anal beads. And actually, wait, there's another Pokemon that's literally holding anal beads. Who is it? You know what I'm talking about, right? It's like a fairy that holds like a thing, and it looks like anal beads.
A fairy who holds.
I can't remember, but yeah,
I don't know who you're talking about.
Execute is literally anal beads. Cloyster is basically a flying vagina.
Is a vagina for
It's
sure.
basically a vagina, yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's basically my favorite thing about Cloyster is that it's literally made in order to show straight men where the clit is.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's
So
why
actually, I think it's a straight Pokemon for that reason.
it's actually used to educate straight people, so it is in fact a straight Pokemon. It is so gay, it's straight.
The lesbians don't need to know where the clit is, so therefore it's not gay.
Here, wait. I'm gonna Google right now. Gayest Pokemon. And
See, they're gonna try to just say every fairy Pokemon is gay, and you know what?
No, they said Jinx.
They're right. Jinx is a drag queen.
Jinx is a drag queen. Machoke is one.
Number one?
No, they're not ranked. I'm just looking at the photos.
No, it's number one. I know that.
Doug Trio does give orgy vibes.
I love that little cartoon of Doug Trio, like underneath the surface being just like three like muscular men just holding each other. And I'm like,
rubbing each other's asses and stuff. I'm here for it. You know what I would also say is kind of a gay Pokemon is, and hear me out.
Okay.
So Sudowoodo, because
100%.
Because literally makes no fucking sense how its evolution works. Because isn't Sudowoodo the evolution of Politoed?
No.
Oh. Wait,
it doesn't evolve into anything, but Bonsly is its little baby form that evolves into that. It is.
Wait, what is the Politoed evolution that's weird? It's the frog.
Yeah, Politoed is the frog.
Oh.
So Poliwag, Poliwhirl, and then either is Poliwrath or Politoed.
Yeah, that's what weirded me out. Okay, that makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
I thought it was Poliwrath that turned into Politoed. And I was just like, girl, what's happening
There's no evolution
here?
that's a 4-step. It's always 3 or less. Or fewer. I'm sorry.
Wow.
But
that's bullshit.
I love the idea that you thought Sudowoodo evolved into Politoed. I'm obsessed with that.
That's why I was so confused. I was like, why? I was like, that's very gay. It's so camp. Like, why would a toad?
See, I thought you were going to say Sudowoodo because he's phallic.
I mean, that too. He's also a rock type, which doesn't make any sense.
He's a rock hard phallic type Pokemon.
He's literally a dildo.
Listen, they're theorizing, some people are, that there might be a new type introduced because if you look at mathematically, this generation mathematically would be where they would introduce a new type.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, if they come out with phallic type Pokemon,
oh my God, we're gone, girl.
You better believe it's going to be like resistant to rock for sure and steel.
So, if they did a new type, what type do you think they would introduce?
Some people have been saying a space type, which I don't
That's
understand
stupid.
what that is, and I think it's stupid.
I could see like a magic type Pokemon or something like weird like that.
So
Where
magic is weird because you have dark, psychic, and fairy and dragon. Like, what more could
that's
you do
true.
there?
What more do you want,
What more do
gays?
you want? Yeah, no. My thought, I went to different like matter, right? So we have a lot of things that are like solid, like we have ground, rock, steel, that kind of thing. And then you have like fire, then we have water type, so we don't need a liquid.
Yeah.
Poison is the closest to a gas type, but I
Yeah.
think that there's something you could do there. My thing that, because remember, every time they make a new type, they do go back and they change some of the typing for
Yeah.
some of the Pokemon in the past. I thought what could be, I'm not saying it's the best idea. That's why I'm not
It's
hired
fucking
by Game
awful.
Freak, but I think like a rubber type Pokemon would
Girl.
be not, well, I don't want to call it rubber, but like
Yeah.
something like that, because you could use a Pokemon like Ditto could be a rubber type. Like you can use
Okay.
these ones that are kind of whatever. And I'm also trying to think of like which Pokemon types are have enough resistances and weaknesses and all that stuff. Electric type is only weak to ground, and I feel like a rubber type could help balance that out a little bit more. But
I can't
also,
I can't wait for Gen 9 rubber type. I'm
it's
here
gonna
for it.
just be a condom Pokemon, and I'm so excited about it.
I think they're gonna go for a juicy type, and it's only Pokemon with fat asses that are allowed to become juicy type Pokemon, and
God.
their weakness is their own gravity. So, oh, a gravity type
That's
maybe, or
exactly why I went
like
gravity would be cool. But that's the
yeah,
thing, there's already
it's like
flying, so you've gotta, like, figure out what's see, that's the thing, I don't even know if
or
we need
a time type where it's like
how?
I don't fucking
If you're
know.
gonna do like, they
Not
just had a
Nintendo.
whole thing with Palkia and Dialga, which is space and time, so if you're gonna do a space
Yeah,
Pokemon, then have a time Pokemon. But my point is, like, I don't think there's anything what like a glass Pokemon?
maybe an energy type where it's like
Mm.
a type of energy where it's not like electricity, but it's like plasma and energy and stuff like that. I could see like
Like
some
a
Pokemon
laser type?
yeah, like lasers and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Light. Maybe they could also do a if they have a dark type, why not a light type? They don't have any
That's the
light type
fairy.
Pokemon. Girl, I know some fucking gays that are dark as shit. That is not
That's why dark type is also so fucking gay. Like that's my favorite thing is
oh
everyone's
my
like, "Oh,
god,
the whole fairy type
Haunter.
is." Haunter's not a
Haunter.
dark type, bitch. He's
Oh
like
yeah, you're
ghost
right. That's
poison.
gross. That's right.
That's the other thing. You had that's the other energy that you already have is
Yeah.
ghost. It's just really hard. I have no idea what they would do. Like it would be like, they would come up with some bullshit like glass
Yeah.
type, like I was saying, like glass.
Yeah.
Dude, like glass is weak to fucking everything and it has
Could they
no
do a
strength.
wood type Pokemon?
I mean, grass is kind of already there, but I'm sure you could do wood. I'm just imagining how funny it would fucking the wood. But that's the thing. It has to make somewhat of a sense and it can't overly
Yeah.
double type with something else. So like,
I mean, to be fair,
is there anything you could
if you said fairy type back then, you would be like, "Are you fucking stupid?" Fairy type, and then it
well,
ends
they
up being
also
a
didn't
thing.
have dark type back then. So it
Yeah,
like once you introduced dark, it made sense to balance that out with fairy, which is the light version. You know what I mean? Dark type
yeah.
was OP when it came out.
Or
Like it
maybe a glamour type where it's like sophistication and pretty, and it's like
a lipstick lesbian
proper.
type. Is that what you're going for?
Yes, yes. Give me lipstick lesbian type.
Honestly, we just need to get away with like the 18 different types and just call them 18 various different kinds of like queer things.
Absolutely, it's what we need.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so okay. This has been fun. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to this episode of Hot Mess Moments. Leave a comment down below what your thoughts were on Fire Island, or also what you think the gayest Pokemon is. And please
And why is it
consider
Machoke?
it's not Machoke. No, I do. Machoka's kind of hot though. But I want to also say thank you all so much for so much support on season 4 of the
Yes.
podcast. Our viewership numbers on both Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube have doubled since season 3. So it's been really appreciative. If you can, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps us out tremendously. And if you do enjoy the content, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel if you like the video version. Beth, where can they find us on social?
You can find me at AugustaWind11. You can also catch me on wait, did you mean Hot Mess Moments?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then you can find us at Hot Mess Moments on Twitter. And what?
I love that. It's like, and where can they find us, Beth? And you're like,
oh, I thought you were like you do that whole wrap of thing. Listen, we are a hot mess, whatever. So you can find us at Hot Mess Moments on Twitter. Feel free to also comment there, interact with us, and tell Dylan that he's a poo-poo head. That's totally fine.
Tell me I'm a piece of shit. Tell me I'm an executor. No,
tell him that you want to literally eat his ass.
It's so stupid. But seriously, thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another silly topic. And until then, stay awesome, stay beautiful, you lovely people.
Bye.